What's up, everybody? It's Simon from Lake Hub. Today we're talking about creek fishing. It's one of my favorite springtime activities. I'm going to show you some bare bones essentials that you need to go creek fishing, and I'm going to show you the ins and outs of my pack too, so that you know exactly what I take with me. This is about a decade of experience and a couple pieces of gear you probably didn't even know you needed. So let's get to it. Here's what you need to go creek fishing: rod and reel, couple lures. That's it. Cut. Let's go home. We're done. I'll go in a little more detail. Plus, I've got so much more gear to show you. Here's my go-to lure. This is called a Roadrunner. Red head, white body, soft body. You can try different types of tails: curly tail, paddle tail, and a little flashing spoon on the end. That's it. I cover that in my creek fishing for sand bass and crappie video. There's more detail into where to use them, when to use them, and how to use them. But this is my go-to. I'm always going to try this first before I start switching colors and styles. My rod and reel, this is a medium light action rod. This one is about 6.5 feet, but really this is the longest that you want to go. 6 feet is ideal, just because you get into situations like this where sometimes a little bit longer rod might help you kind of get in between trees and so forth. But a lot of times there's going to be brush left and right of you, and you're not going to have a lot of room for a backswing on your cast. So 6 foot is probably ideal. 2-piece, I do like a 2-piece rod, because now I can put this in my backpack. I've got 2 hands free, especially if I'm hiking like 2 miles or more. I just want 2 hands free. I'll get tired of carrying that rod. So 2-piece rod, medium light action. And then this is a crappie reel. This is probably as big as I'd want to go on a reel. 6-pound test, and you can go 4, 6, or 8 pound for creek fishing. It depends on what you expect to catch. If you're spring spawn, you're chasing striper, then you'd want to do 8 pound, maybe even heavier, 10 pound or plus. But for most fish, most creeks, especially smaller creeks like this, 6-pound test, that's gonna catch everything that you need. I also want to show you this little tip here. So from here to here is 10 inches. The reason why I know is because I put a little strip of duct tape. I do this on every single rod because a lot of the lakes around me have a 10-inch rule for sand bass or crappie, or both. Sand bass meaning white bass, not to be confused with the saltwater sand bass. So I'll say white bass. White bass and crappie have a 10-inch rule on a lot of the lakes that I like to fish. And I'm in a watershed of a local lake here with this creek that feeds into a bigger creek that then feeds into the lake. So that's also kind of a good rule of thumb for keepers, because 10 inches is really, there's not going to be a lot of meat anyway. So I like to go 11, which I know is now the top of my duct tape, and then 12 I can just eyeball it, and a 12-inch 12-inch white bass, that's a good keeper right there. So there's your bare minimum. Boots. I'm wearing snake boots because it's been warm enough for about a week and a half. It's not really snake season yet here in North Texas, but I mean, it's about to be, and there might be a few that have kind of gotten out and started stretching their bones, right? So these are they're waterproof, they're water resistant. I mean, if you go just wading in the water, your feet are going to get wet, but it's enough to keep me out of the mud. And if I have to splash across the creek a couple times, it's no big deal. And I've got my snake protection. Of course, my jeans too are going to help with that. Any kind of boots will work. Muck boots, even regular hiking boots. If you want to take the snake risk on yourself, that's on you. For lures, if you don't carry a backpack, I carry a backpack. I love taking a backpack fishing because I can just fit everything I need into. It's hands-free. I don't have to worry about it once I put it on my back. But at the very least, just a little tackle box like this goes in my back pocket, and mix it up. Styles, colors, weights, hooks, all that kind of stuff. A lot of variety. If you're going to take only a small little pack like this, and a lot of variety, that's all you really need, especially for catch and release. Water, I always like. This is my trusty Nalgene. I love Nalgene bottles. Wide mouth, 1 quart. Fill it up, and I'm good to go for the rest of the day. I've got enough water to wash my hands. You can wash your hands in the creek too, but wash your hands, stay hydrated. Stringer, if you're going to be keeping them, I like a stringer more than a basket or anything else, because it fits in my pack. I can fit 2 of them. And if you have the most amazing day fishing, you limit out, you know, your springtime, you're chasing white bass and crappie or what have you, striper, up creek, and you just lay into them, you're gonna have a big fish fry with all your friends and family. Then get 2 stringers, load them up evenly, tie them around a big stick, and carry it out of the woods on your shoulders. That's the best way to do it, especially if you're by yourself, and if you're way up creek, you're a couple miles out from where you parked, where you accessed. So stringers. I've also got other small tackle boxes. I'd rather keep a bunch of small ones, kind of modular, because then I can, you know, I can put some in, take them out in my garage before I hit the road, depending on what kind of fish I'm chasing. And it's really easy to find what I'm looking for when, you know, all of my, you know, bottom baits are right here. My soft bottom baits are right here, and all my hard baits are right here. All my crappie jigs are here. They're a little bit different. It's just really easy to grab what I need really quickly. Pliers. This is almost a must-have, even if you're just going bare bones, because sometimes, you know, you don't set the hook quick enough. They swallow the hook, and if it's crappie and sand bass, you know, their mouth might be this big. I got big gumpy mitts here, so it might be hard to get it out. These are just pawn shop pliers. These were like $1. I've been using these for like 8 years. I don't really need anything else. I don't need fancy pliers. These are rusty. I keep them oiled so they, you know, the motion, I can still use them. It's no big deal. You really don't need anything fancy here. They're gonna get trashed, so just buy ones that are trashed already. It's fine. Headlamp. Freshwater fishing. Almost always best in the morning, best in the evening. So dawn and dusk, you're going to be doing your hiking. A good headlamp and a good pocket flashlight. This is a Phoenix E12. This takes a AA battery. It's got 3 settings. This is a great little flashlight. I like to have both, especially if your pocket flashlight is this small, then it's no big deal to carry it on your hip. My headlamp, I use this for camping, hunting, fishing, working around the house, when the power goes out, anything and everything. Walking the dog at night. It has a high and low setting for a white light, and a high and low setting for red light, and that's what's good for hunting. So I went a little higher end on my headlamp. This is about 20 bucks. You can spend $6 on a headlamp. It's just not going to last as long. It's not going to be as bright. If you're going to use it for a lot of different purposes, which is what I like to buy my gear for, then going a little more high-end, $20, $25 range on a headlamp is a really good buy. Pocket knife. One hand open, one hand closed pocket knife. I cover that in my best pocket knife for fishing video. Shameless plug. Paracord. This is my kind of secret sauce right here. This is my little secret tip for creek fishing, because this is something you may not even think of until you're in that situation. So let me tell you, this is a decade of experience here. Not all creek banks look like this. Sometimes they can be 15 feet, the access point 15 feet, and the pitch is like that. If it's rained in the past week, that might be slick with mud and almost impossible to get out. I've been in that situation where it's dusk, it's getting dark. I kind of pushed it. I fished a little bit longer than I should have. It's time to go home. I turn around and try to climb out of that little hole that I was in, and whoo, I mean, I barely got out. If I had some paracord, when I was looking down on it, I thought, that's pretty slick. I might not be able to get out of there. So if I had some of this on me, tied around a tree, drop the line down, I've got something to pull on to climb out of the hole. You know, that's all I really needed, was just one little extra something to hang on to climb my way out. Otherwise, I would have been swimming or something. I don't know, or setting up camp there on the shore. So now I always take paracord. This can come in handy for so many different purposes. And to be honest, I've got one of these rolls. It's like 50-foot roll. I think it's like $6 or $7. I've got one in my camping gear. I've got one in my fishing gear, in my hunting gear. I've got one in every vehicle, because these can be so versatile. So that's it. Give us a like if this video helped you out. Really appreciate it. And don't miss out on my perfect pocket knife for fishing video.